Well, hey there, my name's Anthony DeRossi. I'm one of the pastors at Keystone Bible Church, and I just want to take a few moments with you to give you some encouragement in your walk with Jesus this week. In the letter of James, the half-brother of Jesus, he writes to a group of believers who are scattered, most likely because of the persecution and unrest that we see in Acts chapter 12. And they would have lost possessions, they would have lost their loved ones, and some of them would even lose their lives, like James himself. And that creates deep pain in the heart. And it's a reality that when pain is present in the heart, it often leads to doubt in the mind. And that's when we're often most vulnerable to choosing sin over Jesus. That's when we're most vulnerable to choosing temptation over thankfulness. And so James, he writes to these believers in chapter 1, and he gives them a solution for dealing with sin when they feel tempted. And this is what he says in James 1:17. He says, "Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or shadow due to change." James actually uses two different Greek words for the word gift there in this amazing verse. The first one points to the actual act of giving, and the second one refers to the actual gifts themselves, the objects themselves. And so the picture is that every good action done to you and every good object received by you is all from the Father of lights, that's an ancient Jewish expression that refers to God in Genesis chapter 1, Elohim as the creator of the sun, moon, and stars. And while the sun, moon, and stars and those celestial bodies, they kind of move and shift and have variations, the Father who created them is not like that. He never changes. He has changed less. And so the solution for walking in a vibrant relationship with Jesus today, even when there may be pain in your heart that's led to doubt in your mind, is this: constantly look at the good things that have been done to you and constantly consider the good gifts received by you, and then let those things remind you that you have a heavenly Father who loves you and who delights to give you good gifts. And then with that as like the direction of your heart, watch as your life just begins to fill and teem with gratitude instead of grumbling, contentment instead of complaining. Watch it begin to fill with sanctification instead of sin. And I think one of the reasons that we don't recognize God's good gifts to us is because we constantly confuse the means of delivery with the source. You know, just because a gift doesn't fall from heaven into your lap doesn't mean that it doesn't come from the Father of lights. And so we constantly, I think, mix up medium and source. For example, I like to listen to the radio. When we listen to the radio, the reason we can hear the gift of music is because the radio is a medium of delivery. It's not the source of the music itself. There's no drums in the radio. There's no horns or guitars inside that little machine in your car or on your desk or whatever. The radio is just a conduit. And even when your radio stops working, there's still music in the air. And so all the radio does is manifest a signal that's coming from another source, and then it delivers that to you. And so if you lose sight of that fact, you'll end up giving the radio more credit than the radio is due. And if we place too much weight on the medium of God's good gifts, then we'll forget the source of those good gifts, the Father of lights, and we'll miss the beauty of seeing His presence at work in our lives. Again, my name's Anthony. Thanks so much for taking a few minutes with us. If you would like to make sure that you never miss encouragement in the middle of your week, we invite you to text MME to the number you see on your screen, and we'll make sure that you receive encouragement right to your phone every Wednesday morning. Well, I hope you've been encouraged. I certainly have. Thanks for spending some time with me. We look forward to seeing you next week right here on Midweek Morning Encouragement.